What's up, everybody? Tom Pelissero and Phil Mackey here at Target Field shortly after the Twins lose to Tampa Bay 7-4. Tampa Bay takes 3 of 4 in this series, Phil, and really it was kind of the same script in several of these games. The Twins in it, even winning it down to the 6th, 7th, 8th innings, and then everything falls apart.
Yeah, and it's the bullpen right now. It's funny because the bullpen heading into the series have the second best bullpen ERA in baseball, yet if you were to take stats out of the equation and just ask yourselves how much do you trust half these guys in the bullpen, you don't. There's really nobody you can look at and say, this guy is reliable every time we put him out there. Guerrero was that guy, and he had a rough series. So it's tough to analyze the bullpen right now.
And just in the bullpen in general, when you break it down, you mentioned it. I mean, Ron Mackey, it's pretty clear at this point Gardner doesn't have faith to put him into any game, that they really have a chance to win. He did it on, I think it was Thursday. Mackey promptly gives up, throws 2 fastballs when he's supposed to be out there throwing curves, and gets hit. And also Alex Burnett. You know, he fails to get out last night. You can argue that Kadire dropping that ball kind of sent that down a bad path, but comes out today, puts runners on first and third, luckily gets a ground ball to get out of it. Those are a couple of guys I think you have to look at.
Yeah, and Gardenhire mentioned Anthony Slamma and Kyle Waldrop in AAA
Multiple
right now.
Multiple times he mentioned them this weekend.
They both have ERAs under 150, and by the time this video comes out, Waldrop might have an ERA under 1 for all we know. And so if you look at the guys who might be vulnerable, Ron Mackey doesn't have the trust of Gardenhire, like you said. They already have 2 lefties in Maharis and Brian Dunsing, so Mackey is probably the first guy to be booted if they do make a bullpen change. And Alex Burnett, I'm not sure. He's been okay. Lately, he hasn't been great at all, but the body of work for Alex Burnett's been pretty solid. So if you do replace Burnett with somebody else from AAA, are you guaranteed to get better production? I don't know, but I'd like to find out what those 2 guys from AAA can do at the big league level before the trade deadline hits.
Moving on to the starting rotation, Nick Blackburn almost puts together his 2nd straight serviceable start, but then everything ends up falling apart in the 7th inning. Gardner gives him a chance in a tie game, bases loaded, one more shot at Longoria. Gardner said after the game he did not consider taking Blackburn out. Do you believe him?
Yeah, bases loaded, Longoria for the 4th time against Blackburn, who's at 104 pitches, his season high. I have to think that Gardenhire, by saying he wasn't thinking about bringing Blackburn out, was just covering his guy and just putting up a front, hey, I have full faith in my guy to get a double play ball, but I feel more comfortable, I can't believe I'm saying this, with Jesse Crane coming in that spot. And you mentioned the word serviceable. Blackburn almost put together 2 straight serviceable starts, and if that's what it's come down to, we're just waiting for serviceable starts at this point. It's not good with Blackburn. He did pitch well for 6 innings against a tough lineup, but it's the same story. He's allowed at least 4 earned runs in 8 of his 16 starts this season. That just doesn't get it done.
And then looking at the lineup, with Thome hitting the way he is, now J.J. Hardy's back. Kadire's playing over at third base, and we saw 2 or 3 instances today of balls where Nick Punto, if he's in there, maybe to probably is going to make those plays. So you're definitely losing something, but with Thome hitting the way he is over his last 6 games, he's got 4 home runs. I think he's hitting 400, a 3 doubles, a triple. Yeah. He's absolutely pounding the baseball out there. You can't take him out of the lineup. But now you're in a situation with, okay, you want to try to get Danny Valencia at bats, so you're going to play him against left-handers over at third base. You're going to take Kubel out. Well, where does that leave Nick Punto? When's he getting out there with Kadire and Valencia both over there? Could Punto even start working at second base with Orlando Hudson struck?
Right. I'd like to see Valencia go back down to Rochester and get every day at bats, but the problem is, who do you replace him with? There's no other infielders at Rochester to come up and play utility right now for the Twins, unless Toby Gardenhire can come up and play defense once in a while. But you're right, against right-handed pitching, the way Thome's swinging, Kadire's going to play third. And every time Jim Thome hits a ball to the gap for a double or for a home run, it buys Kadire 10 extra days at third base. So it's nice to see that lineup, 1 through 9, and it's a powerful lineup, prone to double play balls. But I'd like to see Punto playing third base as often as possible, because that infield with Punto, Hardy, and Hudson is one of the best defensive infields in all of baseball, and the Twins were playing really well in April with that lineup. So you have to find a way to mix Punto in there at some point.
Well, let's also not forget J.J. Hardy comes out, hit the ball hard yesterday, 2 for 4, but today 0 for 4. If he hits a skid, Punto might end up being the guy who's back in there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and you can always go with the Hardy's wrist needs a couple days excuse once in a while, too. Same with Hudson.
Although Hardy is going to deny the death that thing's bothering him now. He's Phil. I'm Tom. We'll see you.